Good day, welcome back to Larrikin Photography. Now today I'm going to talk about the three main things we need to know about when we're going to take a photo. So first off, we've just finally bought our camera and we've got a lens now. So with lenses, to change the lenses, you have a button on the side of your camera. If you push that, you can twist your lens. So some lenses will go this way, some lenses go the other way, depending on the camera. Now, you have a dot on here that lines it up. So you've got a dot on your lens, you just sort of line them up and then you twist and you're good to go. We've got our lens on. Now, the main things we've got to concentrate on when we're taking a photo, we've got ISO, which how that works, the brighter it is, the lower your number your ISO is. So if it's a real bright day, like 100 ISO. If it's a cloudy day, it could be 1600 or whatever. It will change depending on how much light is coming into the camera. Now, before, years ago, everyone was saying, oh yeah, you should shoot on 100 ISO. But nowadays, people are more talking about using auto ISO and let the camera work out the ISO for you. So you get better, your image quality is going to come out better. So that's what I've started doing. I've started using auto ISO and it seems to be working fine. Now, then you've got two other things. You have, well, actually you've got a few. If we press onto mode, if on the top of the thing, here I've got a mode button. If I press on that and then I can turn, we've got all our different settings. So we have, so you have P, which is sort of like on the Nikon, P is like automatic. It will work out everything. It will work out your shutter speed, your aperture, that sort of thing. Now, and then you have shutter speed, S for shutter speed, so you can adjust your shutter speed. So if you're doing sports and things like that and you want to freeze the action, or wildlife, you want to freeze the action, hit it on S and then you can whack up your shutter speed quite high and the camera is going to work out the aperture for you so you get well exposed photos. Or you can have aperture. So you work out your aperture. Now, aperture works different. So the numbers sort of work back to front. So your aperture opens and closes like this. So wide open, very big aperture is the lowest number. So on this lens, it's 2.8. So this lens will go down to 2.8. It lets a lot of light in. And then it will go up to, let me put my glasses on so I can see. It goes up to 22. So it goes quite small. Now the sweet spot in this lens is usually around 2 stops. So each number is a stop. So this lens goes 2.8, 4, 5.6, 8, 11, 16, 22. So these are your different stops. But then in between your stops, you got a bit like three small stops. So you can, really get your lens. So this will work different. So that's sort of how it works. If you want to blur the background, you want to get him on like 2.8. Your center of your photo is going to be nice and clear. So if you're taking a photo of a person, you get them nice and clear and you blur out the background. If you're taking like a flower or something, you can do like that. Like next off, we're going to do some macro photography. So we'll have a play around in that. Now, and then, so with the macro, I'm just going to run it on aperture. I'm going to pick up the aperture I want. I'm going to let the camera get its own ISO and its own shutter speed and see how we go. So that's how we're going to try that. So these are the three main things you have to work. Or you can run the camera in full manual mode. Now, if you're running it in full manual mode, if you're taking photos outside, as the light changes, everything changes. So it's going to get really difficult. If you're doing like a landscape and you got the camera set on the tripod and you got plenty of time to set up, yeah, full manual mode's the way to go. Or if you're doing a waterfall and you want to blur that water, make it nice and milky looking, manual is the way to go. But if you're doing like wildlife photography or trying to take pictures of birds or things like that, they move very quick. If I was taking photos of birds, I would run it on shutter and I would dial up my shutter speed, maybe like 500th of a second, and let the camera work out the aperture and the ISO. And you probably get the best results from there. So it is just a matter of playing around. This is the great thing about digital. Once you buy your camera and your gear, it doesn't cost you any money. Like before with film, we used to have to use film. You'd have to buy your film. You have to get it developed and printed. It costs a lot of money to play around with stuff. Digital, you can take 100 photos and try to get the one you want. So it's much easier and you can get your best results. So I really think the better you can get the photo in camera is going to be the best photo. If you can take a photo and then there's a lot of software now you can play around with and try to get it sorted out. But I think the better it comes out of the camera is the better the photo is going to be. So anyway, that's a little bit of a talk about, our three main things, our ISO, our aperture, and our shutter speed, how they all work. They all work in together. So, if you have a higher ISO, you're going to need, it works different with the different things. So if it's a bit of a dark day or if you're in the bush and it's quite dark in there, you need a higher ISO to get your photos. So anyway, that's it for today. It's just a bit of a talk about that. So next one, we're going to be outside and we're going to be doing some macro photography. Till then, have a good one.